Manga-Waido.
My name is Taiki Uoshima. I'm just a humble office worker you'd see around anywhere. My company's a little bit toxic, or rather, understaffed. I'm always coming home late because of the huge amount of work I have to do every day. Then one day, my boss said something very meaningful to me.
Hey, Uoshima.
Yes, sir?
A new person will be joining us soon, so please, take care of them.
Understood? What do you mean, take care of her? Am I gonna get more work? I muttered in a voice that no one could hear. I've been hearing a lot of rumors that the next trainer will be on Uoshima, but I was praying it had nothing to do with that. So the date has changed, huh? But I'm an unmarried guy who lives affluently. I don't have anyone waiting for me at home, so I'm completely free on what time to come home. And on my way back... What's that? I saw a shadow of a person on the stairs outside my apartment. But it wasn't that in itself that was strange. It was strange that they appeared to be cowering. When I approached warily, I found a woman there. Are you alright?
I'm fine.
Obviously, she wasn't alright. I'd been seeing her a lot lately, and she seemed to be a resident of this apartment building. She must have moved in recently. As I put my arm around her shoulder and supported her to stand up, I'm upstairs. Alright. She seemed to have given up and was ready to be helped by me. I slowly climbed the stairs at her pace and reached a door. So you were next to my place. I guess we hadn't even had a chance to say hello to each other since I'd been coming home late lately. She took out the key with a clumsy hand and she said a simple thank you and closed the door. That was a big job at the end of the day. I stood there for a while, having encountered such a rare event. Then I finally got home. Right, let's get myself together. Once I was done washing my hands and changing my clothes, I went straight to the kitchen to put on my apron. I have no girlfriend, no pets, an empty house with no one waiting for me. The only pleasure for a lonely guy like me is actually cooking. At first I started cooking to save money, but as I got into it, I gradually began to enjoy it more and more, and before I knew it, I was hooked. Not only have I been trying to cook regular dishes, but recently, also my own original dishes. The cost is starting to add up, but I'll just class it as a hobby and ignore it. Maybe I made a little too much? This is also a charm. If there's any left over, I can just eat it again tomorrow. I was smitten with my own original dish. Yup, it's delicious. And so, another day of mine had ended. A few days later, that person. When I came home, I saw her climbing the stairs of my apartment. She was walking very unsteadily again today. Is she alright? She didn't look drunk, so she was probably very tired. She was still getting used to her new surroundings, and may have been going through a period of physical and mental stress. After that, I saw her many times in front of my apartment, but she always looked exhausted, and it was not uncommon to see her with unsteady steps, as if she were about to fall over at any moment. Being more exhausted than I am. That's definitely a bit worrying for sure. Then one day, a thought popped into my head. I wonder how she's managing meals after coming home that tired. She is the way she is. It's hard to imagine her coming home and cooking for herself. Maybe she's not even able to eat. Thinking about that, I couldn't stand still, so I finished cooking, put the extra food in a Tupperware container, and left the room. When I pressed the intercom, a few moments later, I heard footsteps clattering from the other side of the door.
Yes?
Hello, I'm from next door.
Oh, you're from before.
I made a little too much. If you'd like, could you have this? When I said this, she gently accepted the Tupperware.
Thank you so much.
She said, and then she turned a big smile at me.
You helped me the other day, didn't you?
Yes, but I just did the obvious thing.
Thank you. Come to think of it, we haven't even introduced each other yet. My name is Chisato Kasaka.
I'm Taiki Uoshima. Pleased to meet you. Since then, I often cooked and delivered the food to Chisato. I wanted to help her as she was going through a hard time, and I wanted to see her smile with my own eyes. That's what I came to think. Then a newcomer, who my boss told me about, was finally assigned to our department. I'm Rikiya Kondo. Please guide me well, and I look forward to working with you.
He went to University T, apparently. He looks pretty hygienic. Seems quite nice.
And just as everyone had said, it was me who was assigned to be his trainer. Mr. Uoshima, thank you for being the one to take care of me. I'm afraid I left my last job after a short period of time, but I'm asking you to give me the same strict guidance as a new employee. Well, don't get too worked up. Take it easy, but let's do it steadily. Yes, sir! Just with his high academic history, Kondo swallowed his work quickly and was very brisk in his delivery. I'm ashamed of myself for thinking that I didn't want to have more work. For the time being, it seemed that the workload wouldn't be as heavy as I had feared. And then, I made too much again today. If you'd like. On this day too, I headed to share a portion of my food.
Thank you so much. I feel bad that I'm always receiving from you.
No, don't think that. I'm doing it because it's just something I want to do.
I know. Why don't we eat together at my place today? I'd like to treat you to a home-cooked meal in return for your usual hospitality.
Are you sure?
Of course. Please, come in.
Oh, sorry to bother you. I was torn on what to do, but I went into Chisato's room. As I entered, I noticed that there was a boy hiding by her legs. Hello? When I said that, the boy turned his face down in embarrassment.
This is my son, Wataru. Come on, where's your hello? Hello?
Wataru glanced at me and mumbled something. Apparently he was shy. After I went in and waited for a while, Chisato had finished cooking and began to put the food on the table.
Here you go. I don't know if this is to your liking, but...
Not at all. They all look delicious. Thank you for the meal. I put my hands together and brought Chisato's meal to my mouth. It's delicious! Chisato, you're a good cook.
Thank you so much. But even with this, I'm not so good.
No, I'm very satisfied.
I used to cook every day when I had a husband.
Used to?
We divorced when our child was still only 2 years old.
Oh, I see. Must have been a tough time for you.
Oh, I'm sorry telling you all this.
No, it's no problem at all. I was about to say it's okay, and I felt a strong shock on my back.
Hey, big brother, let's play!
Wataru was climbing on my back.
I'm sorry. He seems to have taken a liking to you.
No, it's okay. What do you want to play? As I was saying that, a strong feeling was growing inside me. If there's anything I can do, please, let me help you.
What?
As neighbors, we should help each other, right?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
After that, the interaction between me and Chisato and her son began in earnest. On days off, I often went to Chisato's house to play with Wataru, or went out for dinner. Of course, we still shared our cooking. Every time I went to deliver the food, she would always say how delicious it was and would be grateful. That made me more happy than anything else. Through some interactions, Chisato's presence gradually grew more important in my mind.
Lately, I feel like Wataru is smiling more and more.
Yeah, so are you.
Do you think so?
I wonder how long it's been since then. Before I knew it, the honorifics had disappeared from our conversation. Actually, my parents divorced when I was little too.
What?
My mother raised me by herself, and I'm very grateful to her, but she still has a hard time.
Of course.
That's why I didn't want you or Wataru to go through the same thing. Then I took out one small box from my breast pocket and gently held out the shiny ring inside to Chisato. Chisato, I want to protect your and Wataru's smiles, so please marry me. As I said that, Chisato burst into tears and gently held my hand.
Yes, please take care of us.
A few months later, we moved out of the apartment and into a detached house. Chisato left her job as a caregiver and started working part-time to support the family finances while she concentrated on housework. We had good neighbors and were living a happy life as a family. However, a dark cloud was beginning to loom over my work. One of them was the new employee, Kondo. He was highly educated and was rumored to be a promising newcomer. However, those expectations of him were soon betrayed. Kondo, I'll ask you to do this job next. Hang on, senpai. Is this a job I should be doing? It doesn't have to be me, does it? What are you saying? Someone has to do it. I'm bored of that kind of thing. Don't you have a job where I can put my education to use? He put his academic background on a pedestal and yet complained about every single thing. Not only that, Kondo, you've made a mistake here again. Didn't you do the same thing last time? Then can you do everything perfectly, senpai? No, that's not what I'm saying. I keep making the same mistakes because you don't tell me properly. When I pointed out his mistakes, he often made a fuss like a child, and he also handled the documents in a messy manner. There was no longer any trace of the ideal newcomer that everyone had in mind. Perhaps the employees were disappointed too, as the number of people who were involved with him began to lessen. Finally, an incident occurred. One day, the company decided to do a barbecue. It was called a friendship party, and this kind of event was held occasionally at our company. Families were allowed to attend, so I took Chisato and Wataru with me. This is my wife, Chisato, and my son, Wataru. After the general introduction of the family, the barbecue started with a toast by the general manager. A few dozen minutes later, hey, where's Chisato? While everyone was enjoying their meals and conversation, I suddenly noticed that Chisato and Wataru were nowhere to be seen. At that moment, oh, come to think of it, he's not here, is he? I'll go look for him then. I left the place to look for the three of them. As I went to look for them in the parking lot, I heard something. A man's angry voice. No way. I hurried over to the direction of the voice and saw Chisato and Wataru there.
Please stop!
But there, I saw the person I was looking for. Hey Kondo, what are you doing? Is it you? The one who seduced my wife? Huh? What are you talking about? Are you drunk? I'm saying that she's my wife, so why the hell is she with you? I couldn't believe my ears. Chisato was Kondo's wife?
This person is my ex-husband.
Kondo? The messing around man who Chisato divorced a few years ago? That was Kondo?
This man, while you weren't looking, took me and Wataru in.
I knew straight away at first glance, Chisato. Hey, get away from them, Kondo! I've got a proper job now. I'm not gonna leave you alone like I did back then. So come back to me!
I don't want to. I will still never forget the scars you put on me. We will never go back to you.
Scars?
You usually didn't work, played around, and when I thought you were coming home, you'd then violate me. Have you any idea how frightened I was? To go back to that life, you must be joking. I will never go back to you.
Hey, Wataru! You want to live with Papa too, don't you? You'd rather live with me again than this man you don't even know, right? Right? Kondo's voice gradually became raspier and his movements stronger, but Wataru wasn't frightened and opened his mouth in a firm voice.
Mister, who are you?
What are you talking about? It's me! It's Papa!
My daddy is this person. When we got divorced, Wataru was still a baby. There's no way he could remember your face, who never took care of him or anything and just messed around yourself.
Damn it! God damn it! You messed around with my wife! That's why this whole thing happened! You drove her crazy! I'll never forgive you! The next moment, he was overcome by a powerful rage and he struck out at me. but I caught his fist with one hand. Saying these things without thinking about anything else? All of this was brought on by your actions, you know. Unlike you, who married out of half-heartedness, I'll show you and make sure both of them are happy. Shut up, you kidnapper! Just then. Are you okay?
Hey, Kondo! What are you doing?
The employees who rushed to the scene pulled Kondo off of me and pinned him to the ground. I immediately called the police, and a few minutes later, a police car arrived and Kondo was caught red-handed. After that, he was later found guilty of assault and was fired from his job. In addition to a fine for the incident, Chisato demanded a fee from Kondo. However, after paying a small amount, he fled somewhere, and his current whereabouts are unknown. According to what my boss said, Kondo's educational background was apparently solid, but some of his work history was false. As for us, we held a small wedding ceremony, inviting those close to us, and after that, we had a child. We're now living a happy life as a family of 4.
Even after the baby grows up, will you still play with me?
Of course, Wataru. Will you play with me?
Yeah?
After all the hardships the two of them went through, I hope to continue having lots of time with them so that I can give them as many good memories as possible.